done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through on Go, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, very best friend in the whole wide world, Elliot Clifford. Say hello.
Hello, Sam.
Hello. Do you know what I love about the intro? Is that you always smile when I introduce you. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. How's your week been?
I'm sure you're aware. It's been a good week. It's been a good weekend, and yeah, I mean, it's been a busy week both in the football world and in my own life. But yeah, it's been good. How's your week been?
Oh, well, I'm sure you know.
I don't need to ask, do I? I'm asking for the listeners.
For the listeners, my son turned 1 on Friday.
Yeah.
So we had a big old get-together and, well, we split it between two because, well, we're not going to get into politics in this podcast, but anyway.
Got to be responsible these times.
We were responsible, so we split it in two and had a lovely weekend, and Elliot joined me. And back home now, wearing the football shirt that I got him for his birthday.
AC Perugia, who are now in the Serie C, I think they're called.
I treat him well.
The third division of Italian football. I had to look it up, and they got relegated last season. In a relegation playoff, they lost on penalties, so they went down. It's an incredible story. But yeah, it's a lovely kit.
Yeah.
It looks like a sort of...
It's actually all right, yeah.
It looks like a classic sort of Liverpool kit, the ones that you'd see like Rush and
It's
players
the badge,
like that.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a griffin, isn't it? But yeah, lovely kit. Thank you very much.
Well, no, yeah, stop it. Yeah, I do what I do. Yes, there was so much football. So, let's start.
Yeah, let's get into
Gareth
it.
Bale is now a Tottenham player. Again.
Yeah, I think I've said to you that when this first sort of was rumoured, Bale to Tottenham, it gets rumoured every window. And I just thought, yeah, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And then it just kind of kept rumbling on and kept getting closer and closer. And then it turned out it was genuine interest. And then within the last couple of days, it's happened. And Gareth Bale is a Spurs player again. And I think he'll be a success.
So, I'll take you back to a few episodes ago where I said, live to the public, everyone can hear it, Tottenham aren't exactly making high-profile signings. They're making the signings that they need to make. Doherty and Højbjerg. You know, it's not pricey signings, not big-name signings, but they're good signings. Not 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, Mourinho listens to the podcast and goes, you know what? I want to make a bit of an idiot of him. Yeah, I want to make a bit of an idiot. I want to prove him wrong because he listens to it. He tells his friends, and he knows that I'm not very good at predictions. Yeah. So he plays on that, and then he goes, do you know what? Gareth Bale. Yeah, I think it's about time he comes back. And again, one thing that I did mention on that podcast is that something that I've noticed with the Tottenham games, with the Tottenham transfers, is they're getting done quick.
Yeah.
Like
Gareth they're wanting an 11, a team in for the season rather than just rush it all at the end of the window, which was the sort of standard Tottenham way of doing it.
That's it. A name like Gareth Bale would have been mentioned at the beginning of the transfer window and would have rumbled on until at the very last minute, and something would have gone wrong, or they would have applied for extension.
Would have been image rights,
that.
Wouldn't it? That was the Dybala. Image rights. Jeez, but yeah.
But no, it was done, and he's a Tottenham player. You know, with the transfer, then there's still a transfer window going on. And judging from reports, Daniel Levy's like, you're still going to get your backup striker, and I think he wants another player as well.
There's a centre back that is it Ruben Diaz, Benfica, Portuguese.
Ruben Diaz, yeah.
I don't know why he'd go to Tottenham of all Premier League teams when he's Portuguese, but Tottenham still have their targets, and it just seems like Bale's he's an extra one. He takes away from a target. Bale became available, and as a business decision or a football decision or whatever, it was too good to miss out on. And
absolutely, yeah,
he's now back in a Tottenham kit.
Bale has said like how happy he is. He said he's glad to be playing for a team, for a club that he knows loves him and the fans love him. A little bit of a slide dig at Zidane, but I think it's warranted when you look at what he's done for Madrid. It's phenomenal, and it's amazing. Like, you create this atmosphere that Bale is fine. Like, he's happy and he can't wait to get started. You could see shades of prime Bale come out. And
I'm not sure he'll reach back to where he was during his prime.
Not 2012, 2013 Bale. With the Tottenham kit, third kit, the grey and the black one with the slicked hair. Oh, that was a Gareth Bale.
Yeah, I don't by any means expect him to be a flop, but I think playing for a club that as he mentioned, he calls home, it's going to bring a lot out of him, and he's going to want to play and he's going to want to do well. And you think he's still an extremely talented footballer, and as seen this season in James Rodriguez, he in recent years has been a bit of a failure at Real Madrid. He's been sort of cast to one side as Bale has, and he's come to the Premier League and he's set it alight. And there's no reason why Bale can't do that when he's back to full match fitness.
Obviously, not to overshadow what is essentially, if Bale wasn't announced at the same time, Tottenham, I think it was about 30 million signed Reguilón from Real Madrid. Obviously, he was on loan at Seville and played a massive part in that Europa League winning team. That in itself is a brilliant, amazing signing. He's beat off United for it. I know there was strong interest there to challenge for that left back spot. I think it's a 5-year deal. And no doubt, no disrespect to Ben Davies, but I think Reguilón is coming in as he will be first choice. Get a few. Ben Davies might be that Europa League Cup, but that is a quality signing in itself. But obviously, because Bale's come in, as semi overshadowed it. It's semi. But what a signing that is.
By the looks of things, Spurs got him ahead of United because United were trying to overdo it with negotiations. Didn't want this clause, didn't want that clause. By the sound of things, Spurs just rushed in and said, "Okay, on what terms can we sign him?" And they've got all sorts of clauses, including a buyback clause for about 15 million more than what Spurs are paying. But it allows them to get this player in that, by looks of things, will be a big improvement, not just a little step up. It's a bit of a jump from Ben Davies to a well-renowned young Spanish left back.
Quick, he's very quick. He can attack, he can defend. He's kind of got the whole thing. So it's exciting to see how well he fits into the Premier League. And another thing that's exciting, especially after today's game, is the potential front three of Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, and Gareth Bale. So we'll get into the Spurs Southampton game. Obviously, I think you were driving home at the time.
I had it on the radio though, because I had to. It's football all the way home.
Tottenham weren't good in the first half. They weren't. Yeah. The midfield, there was just it was kind of just trying to hoof the ball up. It was nothing. And Southampton deserved their goal. Ings, very well taken goal, gets the near post. Then all of a sudden, Ndombele, bit of stroke of genius, got a bit of a roulette and found a great ball to Kane. Kane first time over to Son, and then Son finished it just before half time. Then Tottenham come alive. Ndombele comes off. Celso gets subbed on at half time, and that was it. Kane. So there's a lot of debate, and there will always be a lot of debate. Who's the best striker in the world? Now, obviously, you've got Lewandowski. People might put Aubameyang up there. Ronaldo, he's playing a striker. Kane is definitely up there. But you find me a striker more complete in the sense that he's got the vision and the passing of a prime Pirlo. Like today, you should have seen some of the passes he was doing through, and he assisted all of Son's 4 goals. And we're not just talking about little passing across goal. These are quality passes. These are really good vision, especially Son's 4th was stupidly good. And it was a point where he even found Lamela straight through the middle. It was a cracking pass, and I'm struggling to think of a striker that offers a team everything, like that. And Kane for me up there I think he's just because he talks a little funny, people don't seem to take him too seriously, but he's seriously good. And
it's been a little bit sketchy under Mourinho so far. Maybe hasn't sort of been the Kane that we knew of a couple of seasons ago, that he was guaranteed upwards of 25 goals a season. But there's shades of that so far. It's been very clinical. And I think the official Premier League Man of the Match award went to Son because he got his 4 goals. But I was listening on the radio, and they're saying Kane deserves Man of the Match here. I know Son's gone and scored 4 goals, but he's not been the best player on the pitch today.
No, Kane was so good. And again, I like to put myself out there and stuff. The only other team that I can think of is probably Liverpool when I say the statement. But I can't think of another team that if your star striker doesn't score a hat-trick, you've got, Harry Kane didn't score, he scored 1 goal, but you know what I mean? Heung-min Son scored 4. I can't think of many other teams that would have that other player in their team that would still get that you score those kind of goals. Mane, Salah Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, but I
You say
can't.
Liverpool. The only other addition I can say to that is probably Man City. You think you've got Sterling.
Sterling, Aguero. No, fair play, yeah.
But yeah, beyond that, you're thinking there isn't.
I don't think I've ever seen Son miss a one-on-one.
Yeah, no, come to think of it. Yeah, he's very composed, isn't he? I haven't seen the game because I was driving home, but I was aware of it. And by the sound of things, Hugo Lloris made a few incredible saves.
So there was one for Che Adams. It was like it was almost point blank, the power. Granted, Che Adams maybe could have put it a bit more to the left of Lloris, but still, the reflexes to get your arm out and tip it over was phenomenal. But we can't take away that he did get away with a weird error that he made. He came rushing out of his box, and the ball, I would say, was maybe knee height. I would say.
Right.
But he decided to try and header it, and he headed it onto Ings' arm. And
right, which is why it was disallowed, yeah.
However, all it's got to do is hit now the upper part of his arm, and that's not disallowed. So it was a very odd choice, but
It was fortunate.
Yeah. But no, they looked very good. And have you seen Tottenham's schedule? Time
they're playing 3 games a week, aren't they? Yeah.
We're going to obviously we record next Sunday. We record every Sunday after the last game is played on a Sunday, and we could potentially be talking about 3 Tottenham games since this one. It's awful, isn't it? Away to Leyton Orient, then they're in Macedonia on Thursday, and then they're at home to Newcastle on the Sunday. It's a shocking schedule.
Thankfully for them, though, there is only one game that they're actually travelling a distance for. Because Orient's away, but it's probably 5 miles from the ground.
Chances are that would be more of an under-23 game, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if Kane may be on the bench because now he's got this relationship with Leyton Orient.
Be good to see.
Maybe he'll be there, or at least if he's not there as a player, he'll be there.
He definitely be there,
squad.
I think. Yeah, because I think they'll want to do something.
But yeah, to just touch on that for one last time. So yeah, Son got the 4 goals today, but give it a month's time when Bale's fully fit, that could be Bale with the 4 goals. That could be that's a frightening front 3.
Yes,
and that's got to be up there with the front threes of, if you can get Bale firing to an extent of what he has done before, that's got to be up there with one of the best front threes in the league with Man City and Liverpool.
I completely agree. Coming on to Liverpool, what I said a couple of weeks ago in our predictions episode is that Liverpool haven't really made any signings. They're not doing anything. They seem to be quite there. And Mr. Jurgen Klopp, after telling his friends about the podcast, he went, they don't think we're signing anyone. Let's get 2 in a couple of days, shall we, with Thiago and Jota.
He was clearly listening a week or 2 behind. He must have heard that on Wednesday and thought, Thursday I'll get Thiago, Friday I'll get Jota.
That's it. Thiago was kind of, I think that was on the cards for a while.
They were saying during the Champions League run of Bayern Munich, at that stage it's looking like Liverpool, and there was probably just a few things that needed sorting out, but
it went quiet for a bit, didn't it? It seemed to go quiet for a little bit.
There was never really any other clubs in sort of realistic contention of getting it. Like United get rumoured with everyone.
Oh yeah.
So there was their name that got.
Then they signed Fellaini.
But yeah, it's and Thiago, he played 45 minutes this afternoon, and he's a cracking player. There's no doubt in that, is there?
No, gave away a pen, to be. If we've got to talk about both sides, but it was. I think I read somewhere on Twitter. He came on, and within 2 minutes of the ball, he got the ball, and he's shouting, "Robbo, let to the left, go over to the left." You're thinking, well, he's settled.
Yeah, you've been at the club for 36 hours, and you're already settled. And he's a classy footballer as well. He's come from. He started at the Barcelona academy in the time, and when he was just making his sort of senior debuts, would have been that prime Barcelona of Iniesta and Xavi, and that would have been who he had trained along, and you can kind of see that in his play, that there is shades of Iniesta to his game.
He's just so slick and calm. Yeah, no, I do agree. Jota, however, came, I think, I don't know, you might be different, but that semi came out of the blue for me. They kind of was like, they're interested, they've made an offer, he's signed.
So Wolves played Stoke on Thursday night, was it? In the League Cup? I want to say it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday
Wednesday
night.
or Thursday, yeah.
And Jota wasn't in the squad. Nuno got asked about him, and he said he's not in the squad, period. Just kind of, I don't know, it seemed a bit more aggressive than you would have thought for someone of Jota's sort of standards. And then there are rumours the next morning, and then within 24 hours of the rumours, he's holding up the shirt. So my question to you about Jota is, what position do you think they're signing Jota as?
Is this not? I'm not taking a dig Is this not me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Right.
No. What? No, this isn't the Adama Traore Sterling debate. No. What kind of player do you think they're signing him as? Because I think I've got an answer. I mean, I might be massively wrong, but I think I've got an answer which potentially
he plays. I'm pretty sure primarily he's a left winger. He plays on the left at least, but he has been known to kind of play a centre forward role. But I can't see him getting in the team over Mane or over Firmino currently.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, I would probably say more of a centre forward.
That's what I'm thinking they've signed him as. I don't think that they've signed him as a left winger.
No.
I mean, he's one of those that in truth can play anywhere across the front, but I think I think he's one of the closest players, or can be one of the closest players to fit that role that Firmino plays.
Yeah.
Because he has played a similar role to that in some formations at Wolves. And during his career, when he's played as that almost like a second striker position, he averages either a goal or assist in less than every 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think he could fit that role very well. He's a hard worker. He can sort of go between the lines of the defence and midfield.
Yeah.
And play it into the wings, because I think Firmino does that job very well, but I think he is the most replaceable. I think he's the worst of the good front three.
Yes,
and I think Jota is the younger version, and he could be sort of moulded into the next Firmino.
Right, I see. No, it's good to obviously to have that depth. No doubt he'll come on maybe on the 70th minute or something like that, and then he'll be played. Not that Jurgen Klopp takes the Capital One Cup and the FA Cup seriously, because he doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess he'll kind of be used maybe like that, and if he breaks his way through the team, great. Thiago, as you said, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain looks like he's off, potentially, so that fills that gap. But when you look at the impact that Thiago May came on at half-time against Chelsea in today's game, Mane getting 2.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a talking point we'll come on to in a second. But Liverpool, it was a weird one, because I'm not 100% sure if Liverpool were good or were Chelsea bad. It was a bit of a weird first half anyway.
It was pretty uneventful until the Christensen red card.
Yeah.
I think at that stage there had only been one shot on target in the entire game in like 44 minutes. And that was just the game changer. And then as soon as Liverpool went and scored, that was essentially game up. And they did try to get back into the game. And Werner, although he hasn't scored yet for Chelsea, his movement he's looking quite sharp. And I think he will be a big success.
I was coming on to that. I was literally about to come on to that. Especially with Havertz as well, I don't think they've hit the ground running as much as fans would have wanted them to.
Yeah.
It is a different league, different environment. You know, Werner even came out and said he's never played against defenders that big before. It's Brighton. I'm thinking, you've got some players to come against. You still got to face Burnley, mate. So,
yeah, good luck against Phil Bardsley.
Good luck with that. But it just looks like there were a few moments in that game where I'm thinking, just have a shot, shoot with your left or just have a shot, but he didn't. And I don't know if that's a confidence thing, that he's just still trying to settle in a bit, but I think one person that will need to lead the team immediately if Chelsea want to finish in the top 4 is, him, we love him, we don't love him. Well, Chelsea fans don't, it's Kepa. So
yes.
What is he doing? That is goalkeeping 101. When you kick it out from the back, is kick it away.
Don't kick it against their player.
Yeah. If there's a player running towards you that's not in the colour kit that you wear, hoof the thing. Don't just try and pass it out.
Yeah, it's poor, isn't it? And I think, there's been a few errors over the last however many months from Kepa, and although the goal Brighton scored in the first game of the season was a good goal, you still think the most expensive goalkeeper in the world has to be saving a shot like that. He needs to
save that. Elliot, here on Through on Goal, we love a good stat.
We do.
We love a good stat. Errors leading to goals in the 2020-21 Premier League season. Kepa, 2. All other players in the league combined, 1. That is
incredible.
Is it the 20th week we've done this? That is my favourite stat in the history of Through on Goal.
I was thinking when you read that, I was thinking, you do know we're 2 weeks in, right? When you mentioned that.
And he's made 2. He's made 2 errors, and it's just... did you see... What's his name? The Here We Go guy.
Fabrizio... what was his name?
Yeah. Did you see
Ravioli.
literally... yes, okay, that's his name. Did you
Fabrizio, whatever. Yeah, here we
Did
go.
you see literally about a minute after
the mistake,
Kepa's mistake, he
deal
tweeted,
signed.
"Yeah, Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign the new keeper." And it's like, you know exactly what you've done there.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
exactly what you've done.
That they were negotiating during the game. That's what must have been happening. They had the telly on, like you see in the
just
Spurs
on his
documentary.
phone, just thinking, "No, it should be all right. We were all right. We were all right." Oh, we did. No, sign him.
Yeah,
Sign him,
they're
please.
negotiating the contract. Oh, what per week? And they've just agreed to his terms at that point. Yeah, come in. But it is an interesting signing because he's out of all of the signings that Chelsea have made, apart from possibly that Sarr.
Yeah.
They're all sort of well-established players, or
Yeah.
at least getting there. Whereas this Mendy, I for one, I didn't know about him before he was rumoured for Chelsea.
Yeah,
And you think Chelsea need a new goalkeeper, and they don't need an experiment in goal because Kepa's not worked out. I think they need an established goalkeeper. But then thinking of that, Chelsea in recent years have had two world-class goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Of Courtois and Cech, and neither of those were bought as world-class goalkeepers.
No.
Cech made his name at Chelsea.
He did.
And Courtois made his name at Atletico Madrid while being a Chelsea player, and he came back to be that long-term goalkeeper. But
they do, to be fair, Chelsea seem to do that with a lot of players. When you think about their squad,
I suppose so.
like John Terry, he was your Chelsea
He's
youth.
always been there, yeah.
Frank Lampard was a youngster from West Ham, who promising. Drogba was from 24 million from Marseille, Mourinho said, "Judge me" when he leaves the club, and he's very highly regarded.
And according to Mourinho, he scored about 14 goals a game.
He's a legend for Mourinho, exactly. So Chelsea do have that habit of getting those players and seem to getting them to where they need to be. But
I wonder if there's Chelsea fans out there seriously regretting letting Courtois go at this stage. I know he was a little bit shaky towards the end and he didn't have the best start to his Real Madrid career, but I'd still regard him as a world-class goalkeeper.
No, but I think Courtois was pushing. He was pushing for that move. So I think even if they wanted to keep him, I don't think it would have been good for the team to keep him. Yeah. I think it got to that stage.
I remember on the Bernabeu Stadium tour, there's a clip. It might even be Gareth Bale saying the clip of when Real Madrid come calling, you do not turn them down. And that's what Courtois.
Chelsea,
did,
Chelsea could be a bit of a slow burner. I think all he needs to get is a couple of goals. Potentially that starts, and obviously Havertz. It's a bit of a shame, but we haven't seen Ziyech yet. Ziyech, I can't remember. Ziyech, yeah. We haven't seen Ziyech yet, so that hope might bring him. Bring him into the team, but we shall see. Now, award for. I know everyone takes the mick out of us for being Portugal, so let's just make a kit that resembles the Portugal kit. Award goes to Wolves.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
All jokes aside, it's actually like a really nice kit, I think, anyway. But it is so Portugal. It's unreal. And you've got to think that is a very purposeful choice. They know exactly. Last season, I think it was Mexico. I think that it was very reminiscent of a Mexican kit.
Yes, there was. They had a green one for Jimenez, yeah.
And this season, we signed Portugal players. Let's make them feel comfortable. Let's have our third kit.
But the thing is, it's brilliant marketing because I'm sure they'll have that shirt on sale in Portugal and people will buy it.
Might be one of the highest selling kits. Yeah, good point.
And I know you would generally, as a general rule, you wouldn't go out of your way to get a Wolves kit normally, but that I'm sure if at the end of 1 month you had a little bit of money left over and it was on sale, you might be tempted by it.
I'd be looking at it. However, I live in the Midlands now and I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, you don't want to clash.
I guess so. No, but I know what you mean though. Like as a general kit,
very nice kit.
It does look very nice. And
my favourite bit to that was all the comments underneath it. It was people who had changed the Portugal flag and the coat of arms on the flag they'd changed to the Wolves badge.
And it's a good job that Wolves had done that. Everyone took the mick and it was all a big laugh. A couple of days later, they're linked with another Portuguese player in Nelson Semedo as I think, obviously, the replacement to Doherty. That's a good signing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably, his time at Barcelona will probably be remembered for when Alphonso Davies just left him for dead. But yeah, if you're attracting a young right back from Barcelona to come to Wolverhampton, you're doing something right, and it's a hell of a project. And I love watching Wolves, and I think they're a brilliant team to watch. They're brilliantly coached, and it's very smart what they're doing, and they're they're targeting football fans from Portugal to follow them as well.
Yeah.
Similar. I know Leicester have just signed, is it Cengiz Under? The Turkish winger
from Roma,
where they've already got Soyuncu. So they're trying to tap into that Turkish
market, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
No, yeah, so I don't think he ever reached what Barcelona wanted from him. I think that's fair to say. I think he didn't quite reach that. However, he's still decent. He's still a capable right back. I don't know who Barcelona are going to, if they've got someone in replacement of him. I don't know. Maybe Sergio Roberto goes back there.
Sergio Roberto would be first choice, yeah.
But no, it's a Doherty replacement goes. It's not the worst, is it? It's not too bad at all.
You'd think that's kind of that couple of moves for the clubs involved has kind of worked out well for everyone.
Yeah, exactly right. So they've got obviously time of recording, they've got Man City tomorrow. So for you guys, it was yesterday.
I hate this Monday void.
Yeah,
I hate it. Yeah.
So hold on, let's just do 2 takes. What a game that was! Did you see those goals? Take 2. Bit boring, wasn't it? It didn't really live up to the hype. Should we start doing that and then just release those on the Tuesday? Just
so we go into massive detail over the Spurs and United games and that kind of thing, and then the Wolves game. Oh, what a game!
Yeah. Did you see that goal from Raul Jimenez? Wow, what a goal that was! You just got to guess.
Yeah.
Let's guess prediction. Man City Wolves. When people listen to this, our world famous predictions.
I'm going to go 2-2 draw. I'm going to go a little bit out there because it's Man City's first game of the season, and we've seen with United that they struggled on their first game, and Burnley we've watched this evening. Okay, they made a good fight of it, but it was their first game of the season and they've lost. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw for that. And Wolves has been a bit of a bogey team for Man City as well.
They have, yes.
So I'm going to put my neck on the line and go for a 2-2 draw.
Ooh.
What are you going for?
Oh, I wish I didn't ask now, because now that you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, they are. Oh yeah, that's very true. 2-1.
2-1 Man City or
yes.
2-1.
2-1 City. I still think City. I still think City.
Yeah,
very good. But yeah, 2-1 City. So we'll see who's right. Aubameyang. I'm not going to say assigned that. I'm going to say grammatically correctly.
They say sign the thing.
Is that Elliot, don't scoop to his level.
I remember they did the same when Welbeck signed the new deal. It was signed the thing.
So
that guy Welbs.
That's in the championship with Watford now, isn't he?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, that's like a new signing, I think, for Arsenal. They've spent the whole summer potentially thinking, oh, he could leave or he might leave. And then him to commit his future for the next 3 years. He's even said it himself, it's the most important contract he's going to sign. And he signed it with Arsenal. Mm-hmm. That is a huge coup and a huge keep for them.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think that is their best sign. That is undoubtedly going to be their best signing of the summer.
No, and that's fair enough. And I think going into the West Ham game, they won 2-1. Mm-hmm. I would argue maybe it was a bit undeserved for West Ham to come away with no points because they didn't play too bad. Mm-hmm. They did look threatening towards Arsenal's goal. Yeah. But end of the day, they switched off around about the 88th, 89th minute when Spelios put it into Nketiah. But Aubameyang got the assist for Lacazette. Mm-hmm. That was a cracking ball into him, just find him in the middle.
Yeah.
Brilliant cross
and
in.
It was a brilliant header as well.
Yes, so that's a good start for them. Obviously, West Ham, I've still got them to go down.
Yeah, well, talking of that, I've got Crystal Palace to finish bottom of the table. And there they are, up. I'm not sure if they're still in the top 2 because there's been today's games, but they've got 100% record after 2 games. And, I mean, they continued the second of those games. Beat Man United 3-1 at the weekend, and I don't think anyone expected that.
I mean, it's still early.
Yes,
obviously.
Yeah.
Because Everton are top. To be fair, Everton have looked so good. Mm-hmm. Like James and Calvert-Lewin, he's 4 goals in 2 games. Has looked so good. And looking at obviously Everton and Palace at the top of the league, it's still early days. Mm-hmm. If you're going to ask me which one of them I think will maintain that kind of record, I'd go with Everton.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think Palace would. But as you said, Palace played. They played really well against United. Mm-hmm. Zaha scoring 2. So one thing that we haven't really talked about, which has been used quite a bit this weekend, is VAR.
Yes, yeah. The
referees have gone to the screens. They listened to the 4th or 5th episode of Through a Go. Everyone seems to be listening to our podcast recently. It's nice to know. And the referees meeting, whatever the referee union's called, they went, guys, listen to this. They played my sound clip of just go to the screens, and they've gone, he's right.
Just go to the screens, and they
just
have.
Go to the screen.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's being used correctly for once. Like they're literally saying it could be a handball. You have a look.
Yeah.
Or we think it might be a red card. You have a look, and it's brilliant. However, there was one use of it this weekend where it really showed the quality of Premier League referees. Basically, how it's not very good, because how that Christensen tackle on Mane when he was through on goal every Tuesday. How he got out a yellow card, and I'm like, are you mental here?
Literally the only thing that I can think has gone through the referee's head to give that as a yellow card is that he must have thought that Kepa would have reached the ball before Mane would have, but the ball was next to Mane. That's the only reasoning that I can possibly have. But he's jumped on his back, he's rugby tackled him.
He's last man, and it is, regardless if Kepa is still coming out, it's a goal score. It's a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So, in that sense, if he's trying to give him a piggyback, that's a red card for me. That's 100%. But he got a yellow, and I'm looking and thinking, that has to be VAR. VAR have to look at that. And he went to the screen and was like that. Yeah, yellow card, no, red card, yeah. And Christensen, he didn't argue. No one really argued it. Because I think when he got a yellow card, he was like,
Yeah, okay. They showed from another angle, and I can't remember which Chelsea player it was, but it showed one like already sort of complaining to the referee as the ref goes to get a card out, and then I think he's realised that it's a yellow, and he's just kind of eased off a little bit. But yeah, it's a definite red, and it seemed two things: sort of a lack of communication between defence and goalkeeper, and also it just seemed very clever from, I think it was Henderson who played the ball through, that he's just noticed that line's been pushed up, and it was Mane that had run through, and he's noticed the little drop of the shoulder and he's starting to run. It's just a great ball through the middle, great vision, and it's just very intelligent football, and that is essentially that pass has essentially won the game.
Yeah, that's it. And it's again, I don't think I'm complaining too much about VAR on the next things that I talk about. VAR obviously is involved and it enforces the rules, so maybe these ones are more about the rules. You must have at least 1 foot on the line when you're a goalkeeper on a penalty. That's one of the most ridiculous. I don't get it. I just don't get it. They haven't got... anyway. Jerzy Dudek would not be very good at that, would he?
Yeah.
Every penalty would have to be retaken if Jerzy Dudek was playing now.
Yeah.
And the second one is the handball rule. It's still a farce. It's still one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It's completely ruining football. Yeah. Doherty and Lindelof were the two examples.
Yes.
Obviously, yesterday and today. Obviously, we'll talk about Palace. How can Lindelof get his arm out of the way?
No. I think in the terms of the rule, they need to change the wording or the definition or something around it, because by the rules, they're penalties. But they need to change it so that you can't just launch a ball at someone's hand and go penalty.
Yeah, so I want that person that created that rule, that sat in the meeting and went, yeah, this is a good rule. I'll tell you what, let's have Jordan Ayew, all right? You run alongside him, all right? And Jordan Ayew's going to try and cross the ball in, but you're just going to run like you normally would. All right, and tell me if you can get your arm out of the way in time. You can't. Yeah. It's stupid. It's an absolutely stupid rule. And Doherty, he's got his arm on the player to try and hold him off a little bit like that, and the arm ricochets off and hits his arm. I can't think. I think, right, I'm not exactly rapid. I'm not quick. Okay. And I would say that for balls coming full pelt at me, I can't get my arm out of the way quick enough, of course. And you got, Elliot. Elliot, help.
Yeah.
I've gone back in time and I've started complaining about the same bloody rule again. But you look at, there was a chance in the Arsenal game with... It was Gabriel. Yep. Now, some angles show maybe it was the top of his sleeve. Some angles look like maybe it was just the top of his forearm. Do you know what I mean? It was in a very grey area of sleeve.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was... it was all about angles. However, letter of the law, should it have been a penalty? Why was that not? And the rest were.
Yeah, no, it's questionable. But yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of clarification on the ruling. That I don't think the old rule was clear enough of deliberate handball, because unless you're Luis Suarez versus Ghana, there's not a lot of deliberate handballs going around. So they need to clear it up. The natural position part of the rule, I get and I think is right, but the referees aren't applying it right. Like the Lindelof one, is it an unnatural position when you're running? I don't think it is a particularly unnatural position, but because it's not next to his body. But if you run next to your body, you can't have the momentum of
where's your speed? Exactly. I get it in the sense that if a player is crossing the ball in, do you know what I mean? Like you've got your arms by your side, you're trying to block it in that sense. But yeah, if IU is running 2 or 3 yards from you and he tries to kick the ball in, just so happens to kick it when your hand is, in the upwards momentum. I'll tell you what, you'd see a lot of. It would be hilarious if Premier League players just started running with their hands by their sides.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't think it's necessarily done as much now as it was a couple of years ago. But you had a couple of years where defenders would go into tackles with their hands behind the back, and I don't think you should have to defend like that.
No,
if anything, that opens you up to more injuries, because if you land awkwardly with your arm behind you, you can do all sorts of damage to your shoulder or whatever. But
and obviously VAR's done its job.
Not natural, yeah.
But it's just the rule is just awful. That handball rule needs
to be cleared up.
They thought they changed it. They were like, okay, we'll move it down the sleeve, and that will be handball. But they still haven't changed in which a handball is given. Because if Lindelof was the player attacking, I don't think it would have been a free kick.
No,
would
exactly. No.
Anywho, where were we? Oh yes, Palace beat United. That was good, and good for Palace, not for United. And Everton, I think maybe in our predictions we maybe slept on them a little bit because they're looking
very good. Just
good, yeah.
James Rodriguez is running that midfield, and Calvert-Lewin's looking very confident, isn't he?
Early shout. What do you think, Calvert-Lewin? Euro 20s.
Oh, for Euro. I think yes, simply because he would get ahead of some players just based on his age. Because Southgate likes to have people that he can have for a number of years.
As long as he doesn't get injured, because obviously, he should be all right. But here's another one I'll put to you, Elliot. Lamptey, Kyle Walker, Trippier, Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Wan-Bissaka. Those are the England's choice of right-backs for the Euros, potentially.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Right now, you're thinking Alexander-Arnold and Wan-Bissaka, and maybe Reece James is your backup, as the one they get injured. However, Lamptey, in the 2 games that he's played for Brighton, has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Has been stupidly good. They bought him from Chelsea for like 3 million.
It was 3 million. They bought him in January, and he's only played a handful of games. He's not even 20 till the end of the month. And I listened to the first half of that game on the radio while I was still driving back, and they said never before have they seen a right back pretty much be awarded man of the match by half time in a game.
He just so
run
good.
The show.
Yeah, he's got a really good cross on him. He's quick. He can attack well, and he can defend very well as well. And he's still young. As you said, he's like Brighton have got an absolute coup there. They really have. I like to think that Chelsea are probably thinking,
yeah, they're searching back through the paperwork for a buyback clause, aren't they? But
yeah,
I can see. I mean, no disrespect to Brighton, because they're doing very well and they recruit very well, obviously.
They do recruit well, yeah.
But I can see a big club coming in for him, and the only one that kind of stands out, because obviously Liverpool have got Trent, United have got Wan-Bissaka, Chelsea got James, as you mentioned, all English, which is a massive positive. But Man City, Kyle Walker is ageing, and
he doesn't rate Cancelo.
They don't play Cancelo as much
Yeah.
as they probably should, but he would make a good fit, and that's crazy seeing that he's probably only played maybe not even a dozen Premier League matches, and he's already getting touted for these big clubs, but he's got a massive future ahead of him.
I said if he could keep the form up, not get injured, and keep his feet on the ground, absolutely. He's excited. He could be excited to watch.
He's fit really well with Ben White as well, who's now playing in the Premier League after being on loan at Leeds last season.
Yeah, so we've got some good depth in the right back spot. Obviously, England.
Yeah,
that's about it, I guess. not anywhere else in defence, but neither here or there. So it would be rude of us, Elliot, not to mention Leeds. Obviously, first game they faced Liverpool, lose 4-3. Cracking game.
Yeah. Unlucky not to get a point from Anfield.
Yeah, exactly right. And they go to Ellen Road. Helder Costa scores the first goal on Ellen Road in the Premier League for about 16 years. Cracking goal. It was a volley like near post.
Yeah.
And they win the game 4-3. I don't. Again, Leeds. It's not to take anything away from Leeds. They were good, but Fulham were awful.
Yeah. I think they will struggle. I think that's one prediction that probably will be right on this year. That I think Fulham will struggle for points this season. But yeah, having as good a weekend as I did, the biggest negative about my weekend was that Patrick Bamford has now scored 2 in 2 in the Premier League.
Yes, he's proving. Yeah. He's people love proving us wrong on this.
Yeah, but I can appreciate to the listeners that what we've basically just done is an audio version of Match of the Day, which isn't. I don't think is going to be sort of the norm, but there's been talking points to every game, so that's kind of why we'd had to do that. We had notes on
you can't have like
kind of whenever whenever there's talking points, we just kind of add it to the notes, and then we're doing that to every game. It's like, geez, yeah.
You can't have a Premier League weekend of 38, 39 goals and us not talk about pretty much most of them.
So yeah, a stat there's a Twitter account that I used for stats, and he came up with this stat. But 10 minutes after I found it, which is that. So this match week, as of time of recording, we've still got 2 matches to play. We're 5 goals away from breaking the record for the most amount of goals in a Premier League match week since it's been reduced to 20 teams from 22. It's still with 2 games to play. I would expect that to be broken. I mean, obviously it may not be, but there's just been so many goals this weekend, and I'm not sure if there were many beyond the Spurs Southampton game, but there were 3 disallowed goals in that game, so there could have been more. Yeah. And something which obviously you wouldn't have seen, but or heard. So I was listening to that on the way back on whatever radio station it was. I can't remember which one it was, and they had Mick McCarthy doing the commentary. Oh. And I asked his point of view on VAR, and he said, I don't like it. It takes away goals. They said, yeah, Mick, it takes away offside goals. I don't like it. It takes away. But Mick McCarthy, okay. I love Mick McCarthy. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't.
I mean, while we're on the topic, we'll go back to Tuesday, where it was the second round of the Capital One Cup, and there was a bit of a giant killing. And I'm pretty sure Hull beat Leeds as well, didn't they? And
also,
anyway,
that doesn't work because we played on Wednesday.
Who cares when you play? Gillingham beat
Gillingham
Coventry
through to the third round. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. Gillingham, I don't think they were amazing. They were all right. They were kind of in the game. Went 1-0 down. It looks like O'Keefe got quite a bit of an injury against Coventry.
Like a suspected broken leg, isn't it? Could be out for the season.
Which is horrible to hear. And we obviously wish him well. Fingers crossed. It's not bad. But 1-0 until the 94th minute. Yeah. To which Gillingham then get a penalty. Jordan Grain steps up, converts it very nicely, goes straight to penalties. Gillingham win on penalties. It's the worst way to possibly lose a game is by literally you've conceded 6 penalties essentially to lose the game, but one of them was to go to penalties, and then Gillingham scored all 5, which is again is impressive in itself. Gillingham scored all 5 penalties.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, as I said, and obviously when we stay on the topic of Gillingham, we went away to Wigan and won 3-2. Huge away win that for 3 points. Wigan, okay, you look at the stats. They had more possession. But as my friend Alan Smith says on every FIFA game since FIFA 09, possession doesn't win your football games. Gillingham had more shots, more chances created, 5 on target compared to Wigan's 2. So it looked like they played very well. I still think they'll go to playoffs. Be promoted.
Another couple of goals for Jordan Graham after scoring midweek as well. Yeah, it's cracking signing by the looks of it.
He's not a loan signing. That's what makes me happy. He's not on loan. He's a Gillingham player.
Yeah.
He's an actual Gillingham player. So, and obviously, I think Evans still wants to recruit. We got a Coventry midfielder in midweek.
Yep.
Literally after we beat them, he obviously went, I want to join this team. They look amazing. I'm assuming that not maybe so much the replacement for O'Keefe, but maybe he was kind of scouted, and when that happened, it was like, okay, yeah, we need him in. I think Gillingham. I like the makers of Carabao. I'd like to thank you very much because you've kept it very Midlands for me. If Gillingham obviously it would have been away to Wolves or Stoke. Stoke went through. Fair play to him. If we can beat Stoke, we then go away to Aston Villa. So thank you very much for keeping it in the Midlands, even though I can't go to it. But I think Stoke. I don't know. It's winnable, but it's
it's winnable, but it's not likely. But
we'll either win it 1-0 or we'll lose 4-0. I think it's one of those.
It's a nice little sort of progression from the Coventry game, isn't it? And if you were to get past them, Aston Villa's that nice little progression up one more, isn't it? There's been nothing sort of too easy or too hard. It's just
no.
I mean, if you were to play Villa, it would be a hard game. I'm not saying that it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's just step by step, and wonder who you get in the final.
Yeah, Gillingham's route to the final is looking very good. I think very winnable, and I can't wait to see old Steve Evans at Wembley again, running down the touchline.
With his trousers falling down.
With his trousers falling down, ready to lift the Carabao Cup when we beat, probably Man City, let's face it. But weirder things have happened. Burton got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. I'm not saying Gillingham will, but
Bradford got to the final.
We will get to the final.
Bradford got to the final and they had to beat Villa on the way there.
They did, and they lose to Swansea.
They lost 5-0, 4-0 to Swansea, something like that. Because Nathan Dyer wanted the penalty for his hat-trick and he wasn't allowed it.
Hull.
Yeah, Hull City. I mean, We've had a positive week. We've won 2 games. I mean, I was sat here this time last week saying we need to write off this Leeds game. We just need to focus on the league.
You did.
The most important thing is to get back into the Championship. I saw the R11 on Wednesday night, and it wasn't entirely first team, but it was a lot closer to our strongest 11 than I was expecting. Without being biased, like if we had our shooting boots on, honestly, could have been 4 or 5. We outplayed them 1-11. We were by far the better team and cracking team together that we had. And Leeds 11 wasn't their strongest, but they had a former Real Madrid goalkeeper in goal. They had a £30 million striker up front. It wasn't unrecognisable, their team. It was still a good team. It's probably on a par for the 11 as what they went up with last season.
Yeah, it's probably not the Premier League team. It might be a Championship team, but it's a team. And no disrespect, that should have beat Hull.
Yeah, and we played them off the park, and we scored pretty early, and just we didn't try and hold that lead. We tried to push for more, and it wasn't until the 93rd minute that they scored. It was I think it was a corner, a ball went out and they hit it back and we almost cleared it off the line, but it was headed into the roof of the net, or it might have just gone over Alfie Jones' head. But I think we had 6 academy players play during that game as well, and we beat them on penalties. It was a long penalty shootout. It wasn't as long as the Palace versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, the Palace.
But it was. I mean, it got to the point that Leeds keeper took a penalty. And so we've technically played 4 games now this season, because we beat Crewe on yesterday. Wasn't the prettiest of games, wasn't the most exciting of games, but
3 points.
we got a late goal and we won the game, and that's all that matters. But yeah, that was our 4th game of the season, and that was our 5th game of the season, technically. But there's one of those which was the EFL Trophy, I think it's called this year, where we were playing Leicester's under 21s, and on the record books it'll go down as a senior game, but we didn't have senior players playing. So in terms of senior matches, we've really had 4, and in that 93rd minute equaliser against Leeds is the only goal we've conceded so far this season. It's looking very good. And for a team that towards the back end of last season did not get clean sheets as a rule,
conceded 8.
That's incredible. And a big difference is that George Long has sustained an injury in pre-season, so Matt Ingram's taken a step up, and I don't think Matt Ingram is a great Championship goalkeeper, but in League One, when he's been needed, he's made some cracking saves, and he's got good distribution, and he's won us 2 penalty shootouts as well. Yeah, he's former Wickham.
Former Wickham. It was a cracking penalty shootout. I was watching on Sky Sports News, and it was like it went for a while. Every penalty was pretty good penalties. But I think your prediction of Hull to potentially go straight back up.
It's looking good so far.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I know last season Ipswich had a very good start to the season and ended up finishing lower mid-table. Well, was it 11th below Gillingham? Yeah. And so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it's a good start, and that's all we can have so far. Yeah. So our next game, Tuesday night, is the Jarrah Bowen derby away at West Ham. And again, it's similar to Gillingham's path that I don't expect to win by any stretch of the imagination. I do not expect to win on Tuesday, but it's not impossible. We've now already beaten a Premier League team in the Carabao Cup, and yeah, it's not a Man City, it's not a Liverpool, and I'm sure our players will go there with confidence and hoping of an upset, and hopefully Jared doesn't score against us because that would be painful for everyone involved.
No, that's fair enough. Obviously, we'll do a quick Championship EFL roundup. This podcast isn't just Premier League. We talk about everything. It just so happened that everything happened this week was Premier League. So don't be afraid there. Trust me.
It's also not just exclusively Gillingham and Hull City.
No, of course not. But
just
they're winning games. Let us have this for once.
Yeah, neither of us are used to it.
But I think there's a couple of talking points that I think I'll bring up very quickly. Obviously, Elliot's choice to go up on the players from the Championship, Nottingham Forest. They're not doing very well to start the Championship.
If any Forest fans are listening, obviously tell your friends. And also, they're probably not, because they're probably still in the canal.
Wickham are not having a good time in the Championship, are they?
They're not. They are, in truth, out of their depth a little bit. And yeah, that's 2 defeats from 2 now. And this one was convincing. Blackburn.
Did you see the stats?
5-0. I haven't. Do I want to?
So Blackburn had 70% possession.
Right.
Wickham had 1 shot on target. Blackburn had 16.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's obviously Wickham had a player sent off as well. The centre back got sent off. They're not bottom of the league currently, obviously, because Sheffield Wednesday are there with -8 at the moment. Technically, Sheffield Wednesday are on +2 goal difference, bottom of the league. Above them is Wickham with -6. So
yeah, you think it's unlikely that Wickham will be able to sort of grind their way out of the relegation zone, unfortunately. But yeah, they do just look a bit out of their depth, and it's to be expected with a club of their size and their budget.
Yeah, and it's a really great club, I've got to stress. I've got
fantastic
a lot of love for
club.
it. And yeah, there's obviously EFL when we look at, Wimbledon drew 4-4 to Plymouth. That was a bit of a cracking game, that. And stupid Bolton lost. So they've lost their 2 games. They were my pick to go up in League 2, and they've lost the first 2 games.
Right, yeah. Also something that's worth noting from today's game in League 1. So Portsmouth played Rochdale and they drew 0-0.
Yeah.
And so Portsmouth have played 2 games this season, and there hasn't been a goal in either of their games. There are 2 points with 0 goals scored, 0 goals against. And like you said previously, you see under the comments of their games that they want Kenny Jackett out is not.
That was trending. That was trending when I went on.
For a club of their size, they're not happy with what's happening.
No, I agree, and he has, he does get promotions, Kenny Jackett, but he's not. He's boring. I think he can play quite boring football, and he's been like that for a while now with Portsmouth. They seem to be just stuck in League 1. It looked like they got out of League 2. They set like a record for attendance for League 2 or something like that. Opening day, they got straight back up to League 1 after all the troubles, and they've just kind of just been there. They haven't got back to at least the Championship or or even Premier League, where Portsmouth should be, and they've just been stuck in League 1. They haven't exactly made some bad signings, but
by the looks of things, it seems like, or at least their fans' perspective, is that they do have more stable owners now than they have previously when there has been threat of them going out of business. But they're not ambitious.
No.
And they're a club that, like you say, they want to be back to where they believe they belong.
Yeah, that's right. I think we'll end this section on fairly sad news in the football world. Macclesfield have been wound up by the High Court, and that's it. Yeah,
they're done. And over the time that we've been watching football, they've always sort of been that irregular fixture in either sort of League 2 or the upper levels of non-league, and they're gone. And it seems interesting that a lot of these clubs that either get wound up or have the threats of wound up, they're all sort of within 10, 15, 20 mile radius, because obviously Bury has gone.
Yeah.
There was massive threats of Bolton at the same time. There's been threats of Wigan this year, and they're all within a stone's throw of each other. They've nearly
Charlton
lost
as
4
well.
football clubs. But
I know Charlton's not in the same area, but
the Charlton are in massive trouble, and you just think that something needs to be done because it's too common.
So
it's not just a one-off.
I agree with you. Something needs to be done. I think EFL need kicking up, up the bum.
Yeah.
Because how they've allowed any of this to happen. But what do you think when people are like, why can't the Premier League teams just spend this? Why can't all the... What are your reactions to those kind of tweets?
So it's not for those Premier League clubs to bail out, because a lot of this is to do with poor money management and
poor ownership, and
who's to say that they'll give them the £1 million to bail them out, and then whoever's in charge will just see it as an endless money pit. Oh, we're never going to go out of business because Man City are always going to give us
2 years' time they'll be in the same position
or whatever. So it's not for them by any means, but it would be obviously not, it would be nice to see, at least at the point where it's do or die, for them to just say, look, have this. If you do anything more, that's it. We can't do anything more. But this, because I think what Macclesfield got wound up on was it 500k,
500,000,
which is
Alexis Sanchez's weekly wage at United, wasn't it? Something?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a lot of money for these clubs, and it'll be nice to see that they did something, but it's not for them to bail out other clubs.
No, that's right. Obviously, there are a lot of clubs in that position, as you said, getting there. Asda's gonna, if Asda goes out of business, you're not gonna see Sainsbury's bail them out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it sounds harsh, and yeah, they do have the money. 500 grand to Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, United is not a lot, but yeah, they give them the 500 grand. Oh, hold on, but Aldershot Town are also in trouble. Oh, here's another 500 grand to you. Oh, but we're in trouble. Where does it end?
Yeah,
and it's not their responsibility. It's unfortunate that Macclesfield Town have come into where they are. It's by no means. I feel so sorry for the fans, because I can't imagine losing that club that you've loved and grown up with, your local club. The thought of just that going,
because it's not.
I can't even think about it.
It's not just 11 people kicking a ball around on a Saturday, is it? Your club means more to you than that. And yeah, I can't imagine just waking up one day and Hull City not being a regular thing in my life. And it's the same thing. Yeah,
we give Scally a lot of stick at Gillingham, and sometimes it's justified. He hasn't exactly been known to be that, getting his wallet out to help the club. However, I've got so many memories of going to Gillingham with my granddad. Medway stand, Block C, Row I think I was, and I worked there as well. And obviously at Gillingham was the last time that I saw him, and I can't imagine waking up one day and
you can't go back to Priestfield. You can't. Yeah,
that it's not being there anymore, and it's
and there not being a Jill shirt to come out next season and that kind of thing.
Buy Jill shirt at the beginning of every season. When I go back, I'm in that Raynham end. I'm in where are we? Like Block H or Block I. We're on the left hand side of the goal, and I've seen the family centre where I used to work and stuff. And to even thinking about that kind of stuff now, like it warms me. Like I'm feeling like emotional in the sense that I love it, and I've got such great memories from when I was young to now. And obviously there will be Macclesfield fans that have that, and they think about this team, that the club that they've had their memories with, gone to with their dads and stuff, and it's not there anymore because of poor management, poor owners and poor management, and it's just awful.
And I'm sure that they'll probably do what every club in this situation does, and they have, I think they call it a Phoenix club, that sort of, out of the ashes and everything, and so AFC Macclesfield or something like that. And if you're in that situation that is your club, you've got to go and support that and try and get it back to what it was once.
Yeah, obviously Wimbledon's the most famous example of that, isn't it?
And then Bury have recently started
an AFC.
I think this is their new season, their first season back.
So I feel awful, especially they've just been relegated as well to the conference. Yeah, could have been a new start for them, but no, it's a shame. And if you're a Macclesfield fan listening to this, then I'm sorry to hear it. Here's one for the OG Through on Goal fans. We're talking to you, Mum. OG. No, but here's one for the OG. Here's one for the people that have listened for the whole 20 weeks. David Wagner. Do you think he should be sacked?
Schalke man. Yeah, I think he should.
I think the Schalke man.
I think he should have been sacked about 20 weeks ago, but we had the thought that, they'll just see out the season. They're probably just too far ahead to get relegated, and then they'll start next season afresh. Well, they've kept him on, and they've lost 8-0 on the first week, so great.
Yeah, they conceded. Lewandowski did a Rabona assist.
And you got a Serge Gnabry hat-trick.
Just stop. Just
behave.
Just stop. I mean, he's, as of time of recording, he still has a job. I don't know if it's... I don't know how. Like, I really don't know how. I
do think that a lot of these European clubs, they don't maybe have the same sacking culture that we do in the Premier League, but...
Oh, but there's a point, sure.
Yeah, there's a point, exactly. Like, they started last season well, which is kind of what bought him that bit of time.
Yeah.
But they've just lost 8-0, and it's also worth mentioning that Leroy Sané scored.
He did.
For his first goal for the club, and at a certain point, it was either 5 or 6-0 or something. They start subbing off the senior players and they start bringing on the youth players. And then the youth players are still scoring as well. They are, I mean, I know they have the Champions League trophy to prove it, but they are the best team in Europe.
I was going to say, as bad as Schalke have been, God, the Bayern are just so good. And yeah, as I said, I'm still sticking to it's Bayern's Champions League to lose. Like, I know technically it is, but like,
I know it's a long old season, but at this stage, you've got to think, yeah, that's got to be right. And yeah, it's just, you look at all the stats, and it was just complete domination.
Yeah,
Schalke they didn't have a shot on target in the second half, and yeah, just fell to pieces really.
So we shall see this time next week if we will keep the running, our running segment of has David Wagner been sacked yet? Yes or no? So we'll see. Maybe he has done maybe this segment could be over by next Sunday. Probably not, but we shall see. And so we come to the end of the podcast where me and Elliot challenge each other to find the most random news headlines from around the world. Yes, it's no context news. I don't know if people like it. We do it. We've done it for 20 weeks. So yeah, we do. We love it. So we've done it for 20 weeks. If you don't like it by now, then you probably turned off by now, but who knows? Anyway, no context news. Me and Elliot try to challenge each other to find the most random news headlines from around the world that really make us think. I don't know what Elliot goes for. He doesn't know what I go for. We say the headline. We end the podcast. My turn this week. I've gone local. I've gone to the Derbyshire Live.
Nice.
And the Tran Benson is no stranger to our courts, and I'll tell you why. The news headline reads as follows. Infamous serial meat thief from Derby fails to learn his lesson. We thank you very much for listening to the podcast this week. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you like what you hear, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube as well. Through on goal. I forgot where we are.
I've just got visions of him running into a butcher, picking up 2 lamb shanks and running out.
No, but the thing is though, the picture of it's him in front of an Audi. It's just
is it your Audi?
No, it's Audi just across the road, just around not too far away. But yeah, infamous. He's infamous. Do you know what I mean?
Infamous meat thief.
So the court comes in. He goes, "Oh, you've been stealing that beef
again."
Yeah. Where are we? Oh, we're Through on Goal on YouTube. That's where we are. Please give us a like and subscribe if you like what you hear. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. I've been Sam.
And I've been Elliot.
We thank you very much, and keep your meat safe. He's out there.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye. Keep your meat safe. Did I just say that? Did I just end the podcast with keep your meat safe?